Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to the Changing the World Now radio show with the Wonders on April the 29th, 2012. I'll be your host. My name is Jeff Scarrett. And this week is going to be a continuation on last week's session. For those of you that listened, we ended up cutting one session into two parts so we could do it on two different shows. So we ended up talking about our commonality, that essence of choice, essence of existence we all have inside of us last week. And after the pause, the Wonders and I went in kind of a different direction, ended up talking about vulnerability and, you know, why would we choose to be open when there's so much fear and so much uncertainty involved, right? Because it's true. I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, one of the largest fears we have is being vulnerable with ourselves and with each other. And, you know, even if you've read a lot of spiritual teachings and, you know, we've all heard the nice quotes and we've all read the books and we've all followed the instructions, so to speak. But, you know, the reality is it is scary to be open, and it's something we don't often talk about. So we got into a little bit of that. And, you know, if anybody is interested in this kind of exploration, vulnerability and openness and this kind of thing, there is actually around 4 or 5 series that the Wonders have completed on their online store. Each one 6 sessions containing like 6 one-hour sessions, all about vulnerability, being open, and what that all entails, you know, as far as how it affects our lives and our existence. Level 1, level 2, level 3, advanced vulnerability, and this kind of thing. So yeah, just an amazing amount of information for anybody who's interested. And I definitely would love to do more shows on this topic because it's just immense. And yeah, on the topic of topics, yeah, I'd love to do a show. What am I going to say here? The topic of topics. Yes, I would like to do a show with listener questions. I was going to say customer appreciation. I'll be okay. Listener questions, but nobody sent me even one question at this point. So come on, guys, get involved if you're into it. You know, ask some questions, get curious, get involved, send an email, put a comment on YouTube or on Facebook. If you have a question for the Wonders, we'll get them asked. It'll be fun. I'd also like to talk about current events. You know, there's lots of stuff going on in the world. I haven't really, actually, originally when I had the idea for this show, I wanted to do a current events show. I thought, you know, well, there's so much stuff going on. It'd be amazing to have the Wonders commenting on current events as they happen, you know, for people on YouTube or curious to get answers beyond, you know, what you hear on TV from governments and media and all this kind of stuff. So that was the original idea. So let's keep that strong. Let's keep that going. And other than that, I actually have a couple interviews planned with some people who also study with the Wonders. I've kind of contacted them over the last couple weeks, and we're going to do, you know, we're just going to chat about our experiences, our involvement with the Wonders, our thoughts on certain things. And maybe that'll spawn some new ideas, some new sessions. We also, you know, there's so many ideas. There's so much. We've talked about doing some more esoteric kind of topics. I know there's a lot of people out there that are interested in interdimensional kind of things, aliens and, you know, unknown aspects of existence, universal mysteries. Actually, having said universal mysteries, if there's anybody listening to this who is interested in like time and space and light and dimensions and how all that stuff exists, there's an amazing series from the Wonders, one of many amazing series called Exploring Universal Mysteries, and man, that'll just completely blow you away. And so if that's your thing, check that one out, and we'll definitely get into some of those topics as we do this show. So, you know, there's no end to it. There's no end to things we can explore and discuss. And if anyone out there, you know, or you're just hearing this information, you're just hearing about the Wonders for the first time again, you know, book a personal session, check out the workshops, check out the online store. There's literally, you know, thousands of sessions, just mind-blowing topics. You know, the Wonders have given so much awareness and knowledge to us over many lifetimes. And this lifetime, they're back, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, there's just so much. So, you know, but again, the choice is ours, and that's the beauty of it. So it's there if you want it. And I guess we'll just get right to the session, and I'll stop rambling. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention too was somebody asked me the other day about the whole greetings thing. Like, why do you guys say greetings? Why am I saying greetings at the beginning of the show? Why do the Wonders say greetings? You know, and it's kind of funny. When I first heard it, I was kind of like, yeah, what is that all about? Because I remember, you know, you see a lot of movies in Hollywood, and like the aliens are always saying greetings, Earthlings, or like it always seems to be some sort of thing that aliens say, or like, you know, gurus, or, you know. And what's that all about? So, as it turns out, the Wonders have explained to us, and I'm not quoting them here, but it's when you greet somebody, you're being very open, very inclusive. You're sort of welcoming and presenting like all of yourself. Like when you say greetings, you're sort of, it's not like, hey, oh, hey, how's it going, man, or something like that. It's like you're just presenting yourself and you're acknowledging the other person, and it's not some new age thing or some slogan or, hey, you guys, it sounds like you guys are in a cult saying greetings all the time, but no, it's not that. It's actually a very sincere, very welcoming, loving way of saying hello, basically. So that's what that's all about. And it's kind of cool because that kind of ties into the whole vulnerability thing too. So anyway, let's get to it. Here's the session, folks. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks, Renee and Maggie. Thanks everyone for listening. And again, if you guys want to do a question answer show, yeah, please send me your questions. If you want to do current events and you guys are curious about certain things, I know I am too, so I'm sure we're probably on the same wavelength with that stuff, so we'll get into that. And other than that, enjoy the show, share the love. If you want to share this show, share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube. Get this awareness and get the Wonders out there speaking to the world as much as possible would be amazing. So on that note, thanks everybody for tuning in again, and I hope you enjoy the session, and we'll see you all next time. Take care. Have a good week. Bye.
All set again, Wonders.
Okay. So now, dear Jeff, it seems that we are having a conversation with you. Now it's for you to start again.
Yes. I'd like to keep going in this direction. Question is where to.
Well, why don't you try something new?
Okay. Getting back to the self-responsibility and the self-empowerment as we sort of move in that direction, it obviously comes with a lot of fear, the being vulnerable, being open, exploring your fears, getting honest with yourself, all that stuff has a certain amount of fear that goes with it. How are people going to see the benefits of doing this as opposed to just staying where they are?
Well, look at it from this perspective. For those who have chosen to express themselves in an open, vulnerable, and honest perspective, what they have gained is an increase in opportunities presented to them to expand their existence. Some of that expansion involves new friends, new acquaintances. Some of it involves getting rid of old friends and acquaintances who are hanging on and who are contracting the existence. Some of it involves new job opportunities, new financial opportunities. Do you see? The more open and honest and vulnerable an individual is, the easier it is to observe all the opportunities around them. If you're closed off, emotionally closed off, mentally closed off, how can you observe all the opportunities around you? All that you can observe is that which you are willing to entertain while being closed off to everything else. So really, there is a great benefit here. Now, it isn't for us to convince anyone, because really at the end of the day, humanity, individuals such as yourself, must look at yourself and ask yourself this question: is what I'm doing working? Is who I am really what I want to be?
Yeah.
As we said in the last session that we had with you, the concept of spirituality transcends, goes far, far beyond anything that you can call psychologies or belief structures by the mind. It's not your ego. This isn't what we're talking about here. We're not talking about your ego or the power of the mind. And there's a good book by Norman Vincent Peale on that, The Power of the Mind. There's a number of good books about it. But that's not what we're talking about here. Your mind is a powerful tool, and it can create a lot of things. It can help you walk on water, or it can help you walk on coals. It's all without getting burned. It's your choice. However, what we're talking about is, call it a spirituality. An awareness of an existence that goes outside of the dimensions of physical realm. When you start looking at yourself and realize that you are more than just your ego, more than the sum of all your parts, as they say, Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll start to look at yourself and realize that, hey, maybe I want more. Maybe I'm not entirely satisfied with who I am. And when that happens, then what's left? Well, you look at yourself and you realize that, okay, who I am involves me hiding parts of myself from somebody else. Maybe I'll hide it from my wife, or my husband, or my children, or my friends, or my acquaintances, or my boss, or humanity as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll just pretend to be really confident when I'm really scared inside. Maybe I'll pretend to be scared when I'm really confident inside. Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at yourselves, and you'll start to see these aspects of yourself, and you'll ask yourself, is this who I really want to be? Well, if the answer is yes, then continue. Don't change. You're having a grand old time, you're exploring, you're doing a good thing. But if the answer is no, not entirely, I want something more, well, then at that point, why not look into that aspect of openness and vulnerability and honesty? Be honest with yourselves. You don't have to be entirely honest with everybody around you, but be at least honest with yourselves. We can assure you of this. The more honest you are with yourself, the more honest you'll be with everybody around you. That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
But at least be honest with yourselves. What is it that you really desire? What is it that you're really afraid of? What is it that you are? Do you see yourself only as a human being, human physical being? That you are born, you live, you die? Is that the full extent of who you see yourself to be? Are you content living a life in which you were born and you've struggled and struggled and struggled until the day you die, and then you let go of the struggle? Is that who you really want to be? Are you content with that? And if the answer is yes, then continue. And if the answer is no, then try being honest with yourself about it, open with yourself about it, and totally vulnerable to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
For there is where the spirituality exists within you. That's where you'll connect to that essence of existence that we talked about in the last session with you.
Mm-hmm. To what extent could you manifest yourself?
Well, the limitless. And that's what the third defining statement is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I am limitless. Notice it's a two-part statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first part says, it's a statement. I am limitless. That's it. And then it says, my choices reflect my limitlessness.
Mm-hmm.
What that second part is saying is, hey, you started off limitless, and then you decided to limit yourself based on everything you've chosen. So if you can't be honest with yourself, aren't you limiting yourself?
Sure.
If you can't be open and vulnerable with yourself, aren't you limiting yourself? Do you see the point?
Absolutely, yeah.
So look at it from that perspective, and then ask yourself, and if the questions that we've said, that we've suggested, if those questions come up and say, I want more. I want to be more. I want to express myself more. I want to fully express all that I am. Well, then at that point you begin a journey. A journey of fear, but also a journey of openness.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can assure you of this. The moment you start on this journey, your mind will create fear for you to stop you. Being open, being honest, and being vulnerable. Your mind has 100 million reasons why that should not work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have only one reason why it will work for you. And your reason is because you choose it.
Mm-hmm. You want to experience your limitlessness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Brilliant. As far as definitions too, I mean I guess the lowest, I don't want to say lowest, but the most base definition is that you're here in a physical body.
No. Not even that. That's just a mind definition.
I mean, just for like the average human being as it is now, like we see ourselves here living this life. And
Well, as we said, most human beings, they look at themselves and they say, okay, I was born. My life expectancy on the average is 74.9 years or 78.2 years or whatever it is. Do you think? I live in this particular country, so my life expectancy is shorter. This particular country, my life expectancy is longer. And one day I'm going to die. Everybody dies. There's only two givens in your world, and that's death and taxes. And right now, taxes are trying to outpace death. You see?
Yeah.
So really, humanity as a whole sees itself as a fixed, finite expression. Certain cultures, such as the Chinese culture, for example, they honor their ancients, their history, their ancients, if you want to call them that. But they still see them as having been born, lived, and died. Now, that's okay. It's okay in the sense that in honoring the ancients, they create a certain continuity from generation to generation. But what we're suggesting is, if you could observe yourself, just open yourself more to realizing that you are more than just a physical being. Well, then, all of a sudden, all bets are off. Many people have died and come back. And they come back and they say they've seen the tunnel of light. And they've seen angels and archangels and their family, etc., etc. You see? But one of the commonalities of all of these experiences is that they are more than just a physical being. That's the commonality.
It's like people want proof, right? Unless they see something or experience it for themselves, they won't.
Yes, what they want is they want everybody who dies to come back and say, "Oh, by the way, I'm still around," which is just a nice mind concept. But again, you don't observe the subtlety of your own continuity when you're judging yourself as physical only.
Now, what about, say, someone, you were talking about observing the essence of choice within everyone to see our commonality. What if someone was to say, okay, well, I observe that I have choice and that it exists in everyone, therefore we all exist in the common way, but once we die, is choice still there once we pass through the physical existence?
Well, that's the beauty of it, because if you observe the subtlety of your essence of existence, you'll observe that the choice that you're talking about actually happens or has happened or will happen regardless of time.
Outside of it, yeah.
And space. And so the resultant is you'll start getting a sense of yourself beyond the physical. Now, at first you'll poo-poo it. You'll put it down and say, no, this isn't right. No, this is just imagination. No, this is a really nice story, fantasy story. And a lot of people do that. And a lot of people try to debunk the whole concept of existence beyond death. But ultimately, no matter what the efforts have been to debunk it, and no matter what the logic they use to justify their efforts, they still can't quite fully, without any absolute, debunk it. So the choice is yours. This session will end soon, dear friend.
Well, on that note, I mean, some food for thought for our listeners, and that was great.
And we do thank you.
Thank you.
To you all, the appreciation of all.
Appreciation of all wonders.
Appreciation of all wonders. Wonders, may we move to end this session?
Please.
Please perform all healings that are chosen.
Done.
Please relax the body to its natural state now.
And to you all, the appreciation of all.
The appreciation of all wonders. I would like Renee to awake feeling completely loved now.
Came out of that session, Jeff, kind of interesting because I saw, it's like I could look at a person and I could see just a human physical being, and yet at the same time I could go inside of them and I could see a spark, a piece, something inside of them that was different from everybody else. That was just, it was like an essence in there, you know? And when I looked at that and I saw it in people and I looked around and I could see it in the animals and I could see it in the birds and I could see it in the trees and I could see it in the rocks. I could see it in everything around me. I could see this little spark of essence, if you want to call it, this spark of consciousness, I call it, you know? And it was fantastic because it gave me an awareness that, hey, I'm never, ever alone. And no matter what, there's a continuity there. My ego personality may be this physical expression, but the essence that I am just continues forever and ever. And that's it. That's all I got.
Thank you.